Hi friends, today we are going to see the past year NEET questions for the chapter Anatomy of Flowering Plants, and today in this video we will cover part 5. So let's begin with the first question here, which was asked in the year 1990. Pericycle of roots produce dash. Okay, what is pericycle? First of all, maybe we need to discuss that. There are different cycles, right? For example, when you talk about, you have 4 options here. What is the use of it? Does it give you mechanical support? It is obviously not the mechanical support. What does it do? Does it produce lateral roots or anything like that? When we talk about pericycle, it's a thin layer of the plant tissue between the endodermis and the phloem. Okay, so this is about pericycle. Now, what will be the function? The main function of the pericycle cells of vascular plants is to provide support, structure, and protection for the plant. What are the 3 features it produces? Protection, then you have the support, and then the structure of the plant. Okay, so these are the 3 things that it supports the plant in, these 3 ways. Okay, now coming to the answer. So I said these are the 3 functions of it, but what does it produce? Okay, it is not the question of function. What does it produce? Pericycle in the roots is active in the formation of root branches, which are also called as lateral roots. So functions of pericycle are all these 3. So when we talk about what does it produce, it produces lateral roots. The correct answer is option B. So here you have lateral root, primary root, different root system are given here. When you talk about the lateral root, it helps in the salt stress, gravity, then it helps the plant during starvation, then it also has about other functions like nitrate and so on. So this is just a diagram which shows you the much information about the lateral roots and the primary root. Therefore, the correct answer to this question is option B. Next question here, what is true about a monocot leaf? So again, this question was asked in the year 1990. So now when we spoke about in the earlier chapters, we spoke about monocot root and monocot stem and all we spoke about. Now here this question is about the monocot leaf. Monocot leaves are leaves which appear on the plants produced from the seeds. Okay, and that too when the seed will have only a single cotyledon. That is a speciality, and that is the difference between the dicotyledon and the monocotyledon. The monocot leaves are usually described as isobilateral leaves because the upper and the lower surfaces will have the same color. Sometimes if you see certain leaves on the upper side, they will be more bright, and when you turn it and you see the lower part of it, sometimes it might be dull or it might be pale. So there are instances like that, and there are still leaves like that. But if you take a monocot leaf, if you see both the sides, the upper and the lower surface will be of the same thing. Okay, so this is another thing unique about this. Okay, so therefore what do you think will be the right answer? Now I've just given you a clue of what the answer is. Yes, mesophile, not differentiated into palisade and spongy tissues. So this is true about the monocot leaf. Therefore the correct answer is option C. So here you have the mesophile. The mesophile will be in the form of spongy mesophile, lower epidermis, and you have stroma and other cells which come under this. Okay, right? Okay, now let's move to the next question here. Pith and cortex do not differentiate in dash. This is an easy question for you. I think by now you know what the answer is. It is monocot stem. We already discussed in the earlier parts. The ground tissue in the monocot stem do not show distinction into a cortex and endodermis or pericycle. Pith or other formations are not visible. I mean, they don't differentiate. The correct answer is monocot stem. So here you have the transverse section of the maize stem. It's actually a monocot example which will show a plan of arrangement of tissues. So here you have the epidermis, vascular bundles, the crown tissue, and all that is present here. So this is how the transverse version under the microscope will look like. Therefore the correct answer to this question is option A. Next question here, the vascular cambium normally gives rise to dash. This is also an easier question which is we already discussed here. See, when we talk about vascular cambium, you always have to remember one thing, and that is the secondary growth. Okay, during the secondary growth in plants, vascular cambium gives rise to secondary xylem and secondary phloem. So I think I've given the answer. So phylodrome is a compound, I mean it's formed by the cork cambium, and periderm, if you see, so you have some options here, heloderm, and then you have periderm. So heloderm, if you see, it is actually formed by the cork cambium, not by vascular cambium. Periderm, if you see, it's the corky outer layer formed by the secondary thickening. So vascular cambium normally gives rise to the secondary xylem and phloem. Therefore, the correct answer to this question is option B. Next question here. Identify the wrong statement in context of heartwood. Okay, I'll show you the picture of the heartwood. I'm sorry. So when we talk about heartwood, you have to remember one thing. Before I think there's no diagram here, but that's okay. But if you go search it in the net, you will find the picture. Okay, so when we talk about heartwood, it is the center. Okay, what does our heart do? Same thing. It's the center, right? It's the center of the body, and you call that the most important part of the body. Now heartwood is actually also called as duramen. What do you call it as? It is also called as duramen. Okay, it's a dead central wood of trees. Its cells usually contain tannins or other substances that make it dark color and sometimes aromatic. Okay, so this is an introduction that I would like to give about heartwood. So here, out of the 4 statements, which one is wrong? If you see, it is option B. It conducts water and minerals efficiently. See, we just now spoke about it. We said it's an inactive part, it's a dead part, the remains, it has no conduction of anything, and that's why it appears dark. All that we saw. It's highly durable. It comprises of dead elements. So when it is comprising of dead elements, how can it conduct water and minerals? That's the question here. The correct answer to this question is option B. Okay, next question here. Read the different components from A to D in the list given below and tell the correct order of components with reference to their arrangement from the outer side to the inner side of the woody dicot stem. So this question was asked in the year 2015. Okay, we'll just read the options here. Secondary cortex, wood, secondary phloem, and phloem. Or you can say hilum. So what was the correct one here? See, you're giving us the order. Okay, the order goes in the form of, it starts with D, phloem, then it moves into secondary cortex, then it moves into secondary phloem, and then it moves last into the wood part. So the correct order is DACB, which is option DCB. I mean DA and CB. That is the right answer. Okay, the correct answer is this. So this is the order that you follow. Hilum, then moves to secondary cortex, then the secondary phloem, then last is the wood. So this is the correct sequence. Okay, this is a direct question. Not much of explanation is required, but it is important that you know the sequence. Okay, next question here. Age of trees can be estimated by dash. I think by now you will know what the answer is. Yes, it is the number of the annual rings. Age of the trees can be estimated by the number of the annual rings. Annual rings constitute an alternate concentric rings on the spring wood and autumn wood. Okay, so this is how you can see the age of the tree. That is the annual rings you can see here. So this is during the first year of growth, rainy season, dry season, scar from the frost, forest fire, then you have the spring, early summer growth, late summer. So these lines will tell you what is the age of the tree. You can tell it in years. Okay, therefore to find the age of the tree, you will use a number. I mean, you will calculate the number of the annual rings. Next question here. Lenticels are involved in dash. Now what do you mean by lenticels? What are they actually? What do they do to the plant system? Lenticels is one of the many raised pores in the stem of a woody plant that allows for gaseous exchange. So what does it do? It allows for gaseous exchange between the atmosphere and the internal tissues. Where are lenticels found? Where do you find it? They are found in the spongy area present in the woody surface of the stem. It appears as lens-shaped spot, acts as a pore. They allow for the exchange of gases between the internal tissues and the atmosphere. So now that I've given the answer, the correct answer is option A, gaseous exchange. Okay, correct answer is option A. Next question here. Intervascular cambium develops from the cells of dash. What do you mean by intervascular? We know what is cambium. Now what do you mean by intervascular cambium? See, the cambium occupy between two vascular bundles. So what is intervascular cambium? So it will occupy between the two vascular bundles. Okay, vascular bundles, and it is called as intervascular cambium. It is a secondary meristem. During the secondary growth in the dicot stem, the vascular and the intervascular cambium fuse together to form a continuous string of meristematic tissue, what you simply call it as vascular cambium. Okay, so this is an introduction that I would like to give for intervascular cambium. Now coming to the answer. All the time the secondary growth, that is intervascular cambium, is formed by the parenchymatous cells. Okay, parenchymatous medullary rays. So this is a where does it develop from, or what does it produce? It is from the parenchymatous medullary rays. Intervascular cambium along with the intervascular cambium, they have given it in the two form, inter and intra. Okay, we have two systems here, intervascular and intravascular. They are formed from the cambium cells present between the xylem and the phloem, and they constitute a continuous cambium ring. If new cells are cut in both direction, it causes a secondary growth in most of the dicotyledonous plant. Okay, so you should know what is intervascular cambium. It is between the two vascular bundles, and that's how, and what gives rise to it is the parenchymatous medullary rays. Therefore the correct answer is option D. Next question here. The common bottle cork is a product of dash. So you must have seen when you buy in wine or any beverages, mostly they will use a cork system there. And what do you think the cork is made up of? Have you ever thought what is it made up of? It is made up of halogen or phallogen. Okay, the common bottle cork is a product of phallogen. Phallogen produces cork or on the outer side. It consists of dead and compactly arranged rectangular cells that possess, what cells do they possess? They possess subrized cell wall. So here you have the answer. Okay, the cork cells are, what do the cork cells contain? They contain tannins, hence they appear brown, okay, or dark brown in color. The cork cells in some plants are filled with air. Examples of cork oak, bottle cork. So that's the other name of the cork. Okay, cork oak, or it is also called as bottle cork. Okay, so the common bottle cork that we see in products and other manufacturers use it from phallogen. The correct answer is option B. Next question here. Gymnosperms are also called softwood spermatophytes because they lack dash. Obviously they should lack fibers, but which fiber is that? Phloem or xylem? Xylem fibers. So what are gymnosperms? What is it, a seed plant or is it a naked this thing? Say gymnosperms are also known as archogymnosperms, a group of seed producing plants that includes conifers, cycads, ginkgo and gentotypes. Now the term gymnosperm comes from the composite word in the Greek word literally meaning naked seeds. The seeds will not be enclosed, right? The seeds will remain naked, they are not enclosed. So that is the main property of gymnosperms. And gymnosperms, they appear they also called as softwood because they lack the xylem fibers. Okay, so here you have some functions also that I've mentioned here. Wood fiber or xylem fiber, if you see, they are sclerenchyma fibers. They are distinguished from tracheas on the basis of their comparatively thicker walls and obliterated central lumens. These fibers are of two types. You have libriform fibers, and the other one is obliterated central lumen. Okay, therefore the correct answer to this question is option D. When there is a presence of xylem fibers, the wood will become strong and it will be quite rough. Okay, next question here. The cambium cork and the secondary cortex are collectively called as. This is an easy question because we just now saw about the we saw about the bottle cork and all that, but there is something called exclusively called as cork cambium. What is a cock cambium do, or what is it actually? It's a tissue of the stem, or it can be called as a tissue in the stem of a plant that gives rise to cock on its outer surface and the layer of cells which will contain chlorophyll on its inner part. Okay, it is a tissue found in many vascular plants. So where is it found? Many vascular plants will produce this cock. Now the cock cambium, cock and the secondary cortex are collectively called as periderm. What is it called as? Periderm. Okay. Now if you have other terms, phellem, phellogen, phelloderm. These are actually collectively called as periderm. See, they have actually separated and given you the answer. Phelloderm, phellogen, phellem, all they constitute to the cock cambium only. But how are they collectively called? They are collectively called as periderm. The correct answer is option C. Next question here. Which one of the following is not a lateral meristem? So what do you think will be the answer here? Obviously it is not intervascular and intravascular. It should either be phellogen or intercalary. Meristem is divided on the basis of the position in the plant bodies, and we always talk about the apical part, right? We have two meristem, apical and lateral meristem. So if you see, meristem is divided into two, they are divided on the basis of the position in the plant bodies into apical meristem and lateral meristem and intercalary meristem. Okay, these are the three types of three types of meristems that is found, and this is how the plant will get divided. Now intervascular cambium, intravascular cambium, phellogen, all these are part of the meristem. They will not come under this. So intercalary is already another meristem which the plant will get divided to. So which one is not the lateral meristem? It will be option D, intercalary meristem. Lateral meristem is present on the lateral sides, that is vascular and intervascular cambium and cock cambium. Therefore the correct answer will be option D. Okay, because I think you understand the question and the answer here. Out of the four options they are asking on which is not the lateral meristem. One thing you need to understand here, when you divide the plant itself, you will divide it into three types, right? You will divide it into three types already. You have the three meristem, the lateral, apical and the intercalary. Already when it is being divided into a separate meristem, obviously it cannot come under lateral meristem. So this is how you should see. Only when you know the three types of meristem, this one will be for you easy. Otherwise you'll go wrong. So the correct answer to this question is option D. Next question here. Heartwood differs from the sapwood in dash. So this is a direct question. We just now discussed in this part what is heartwood, right? It's a central part of the plant system, and so on we saw. Heartwood differs from the sapwood in having dead and non-conducting elements. That is the main difference, because heartwood I said it's the accumulation. What did I say? It is the accumulation of the dead materials on it, of dead elements, and it's a non-conducting part of the element. It doesn't have any property to do with the functions of the plant. It's basically the accumulation, all the remains, all the dead ones, the non-conducting parts, the tissues all get accumulated there. So heartwood differs from the sapwood is because they are having dead and non-conducting elements. Heartwood does not conduct water but gives mechanical support to the stem. On the other hand, the peripheral region, which is lighter in color, is called the sapwood. It is involved in the conduction of water and minerals. So if you take the sapwood, it will be involved in conduction of water and minerals. But heartwood, if you see, it doesn't do any function, but it gives a background support, a mechanical support to the stem of the plant. While sapwood, if you see, it's a fresh system, part of the stem where it conducts water, minerals. Apart from that, it also gives a background support for the plant. Therefore, the correct answer to this question is option C. Next question here. Which one of the following is resistant to the enzyme action? Okay, we have four options here: wood fiber, leaf cuticle. See, the correct answer is pollen exine. It is resistant to the enzyme action. The hard outer layer is called as exine and is made of, what is it made up of? I have it here. So it is made up of sporopollen, which is one of the most resistant organic material name. So what is the compound name? It is named as sporopollenin. Okay. It is actually an organic material. It can withstand high temperatures and strong acids and alkalis. So sometimes even when you use certain enzymes to degrade it, you cannot degrade it because they are resistant to the action of enzymes. So which one of the following is resistant to enzyme action? It is polynexine, and it's the hard outer layer. Okay, it is made up of a material or an organic compound that is called as sporophyllin. Therefore, the correct answer to this question is option C. So with this, we complete the part 5 of anatomy of flowering plants. Hope to meet you in the last part of the same chapter. Thank you.